Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at the market, starting with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had a nice move up, didn't it, as expected, and then actually retraced almost immediately in dramatic fashion over the rest of the day, all the way down to the 4-hourly Bollinger Band Center, the 21 exponential as well. So fine, no big deal. I mean, technically it's a higher low, technically. Let's have a look at momentum down here. Well, I mean, there was one read of hidden bearish divergence on the money flow index. That was all, really. That was all. So, could be a liquidity grab, to be honest with you. When you see a wick like this, wicks often do tell a story. This one certainly did. This one's done it again. But in amongst all of the chaos, in amongst all of the hectic, chaotic price action, has emerged a conversion baseline cross on the Ichimoku cloud. Now, on its own, it's nothing special, but combine it with a few other things, it does become something special. And shall we combine it with the Chiku span over here, which is technically inside the price action at the moment. At the moment it is. It just needs to close a little higher than that. So if we start closing above $120,000, we've got a trend signal on the Ichimoku cloud. Obviously the price action is above the cloud, which is green. So you've basically got those three components to create a trend signal. So Bitcoin is almost, not quite yet, almost, very, very close. And to be honest with you, the beauty of this cheeky span is that tomorrow it'll be lower and lower. So the criteria is just $1,000 lower for it to kick in with that trend signal. So again, it's not written in stone. It doesn't actually exist right now. There's two of the three components for the trend signal. But if we get it, which is either a close above 120 today or a close above 118 tomorrow, then you've got yourself a trend signal which should continue, right? So Bitcoin likely to have a trend signal kick in, although it's not confirmed, just remember that. And even if it was confirmed, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just lines on a screen. Other than that, though, looking over here, momentum, well, nothing to worry about. All the bearish divergence led to this pullback already. The hidden bullish divergence led to this run already. And since then, there's not been any signs of weakness moving up. Now, this was a little bit of a problemo. But again, this is the last trend signal that took place. Took place on Bitcoin on the weekly, and it's been trending ever since. We do have bearish divergence on this. We do have overheated money flow indexes on this, and we do have, as far as I'm concerned, a red line telling us when the top is likely to be in, or at least an educated guess as to when it's going to be in. It's not in yet, is all I'm saying, and we're ready for a bounce. And I think the most important thing is to focus on this 4-hourly. Yep, at the moment, the odds are in favour of immediate continuation from exactly where we are on this 4-hourly. But if it fails, then you go down a little lower. The 50 exponential down here, the 117,000, that's roughly a CME gap as well. So if we do wick down into that area, longs at the ready. Now, all the market is likely to benefit from this because the Bitcoin dominance chart continues to be bearish. As far as I'm concerned, the top was in a little while ago, and we're just going to bleed out a little bit now, continuing down and down and down and down and down. So I don't really have a problem allowing for my portfolio just to rise over time now, over a very short period of time, to be honest with you, because I do want to be getting out of this relatively soon, or at least limiting positions relatively soon, and just playing the futures market really for scalps, and then looking for some big bounces, whether they result in a full reversal and continuation in what might be an extended cycle, or if it's just a big dead cat bounce or just a bear market bounce. Still look to limit positions around September. Dramatically, by the way. But yeah, the dominance chart does look like it wants to just keep going down anyway. So I mean, there's always you can't have one plan and only one plan. You've got to have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G. You know what I mean? Because the market is not going to listen to you. You have to listen to the market. But for the moment, things are just working out exactly as expected. The total 2 is where we'll leave it, because we've got a live stream tomorrow night, so if anybody wants to join that, we'll look at whatever altcoins you want. The last live stream we did, I said, look, things look good. It's going to be a bumpy journey, though, because a lot of the 4-hourlies on altcoins were particularly hot, so they didn't look like they were capable of going much higher without coming back down a fair bit, and lo and behold, that's what's happened. prior stream before that, I said, look, everything looks good for immediate continuation. Everything's likely just to go up now, and it did. So I think there's value in it. So links in the description below for the Patreon. But the total too is moving exactly as expected. There's nothing else I can say about it. Following the rough idea of the fractal, giving us the rough idea of when the time is likely to run out for this market. Up, down, and then another up. When we were down here, people denied it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's all over. The cycle's broken. And then as we approach the top, I think it's going to break again, but the cycle is going to break to the up. It's going to be an extended cycle this time. Can't you see? Right. Well, we have ups and downs in all market trends. You even go up in a bear market, you go down in a bull market. And at the moment, we are going up in a bull market, and we're likely to peak. But it's not going to happen overnight, as we know. And it's been pretty good since we navigated the bottom again. I didn't get the absolute bottom on this, by the way, not this time. I did on this one, by the way, and I did down here as well. And this one, not so much. But still, everything's in profit dramatically now, so might as well let you know that the overall analysis is still working out. But I don't think we've got much longer to go. So yeah, we're up 100% on this since the Golden Cross retest on the weekly. That's fine, and we're likely to continue to go up over these next few weeks, I believe. And then what we do after that is a different story. And finally, then we'll have a little look at the Dixie, which is getting rejected as expected. Death cross on this, death cross on this. Now, just because there's a death cross on it on a weekly doesn't mean that it's going to break down below this trend line. My expectation is that it's actually going to double bottom around this trend line, and that's when the dollar starts to gain in price again. So probably looking for longs on the dollar, and even just if this is something I think some people might need to have a little think about this, right? So if the dollar were to bounce from this exact area down here and continue with its general vibe of this ascending channel, then the dollar is an appropriate trade to be in anyway, right? So by selling, right, and you sell to dollars or to Tether or to USDC or whatever, by selling, you then own dollars, and those dollars, if this works, it's not stagnant. It's not nothing. You've not sold to dirt. You've not sold, to salt or something like that. You've sold to dollars. And if the dollar were to increase on the Dixie, generally speaking, if it were to, let's just say it hit the bottom of this trend line and then went to the top of the trend line, it's a 24% move. That's not stagnant, right? If you are mostly holding cash, let's just say, and this continues to work and we do move up, and again, this is if it just rallied right up, the chances are it would rally up even higher than that. So you're talking a 25% move basically on the dollar if it were to work out over a couple of years perhaps. It's not a nothing trade. It's a safety trade because you don't want to be in a declining market, but it's also a potentially lucrative trade, especially if you're holding dollars and you live in the UK like me, or somewhere in Europe, and your native currency is going to go down versus the dollar. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough for one morning video. Let me know if you made it to the end. Other than that, hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.